So the Thinktank toilet just arrived at my house yesterday, and I'm just getting ready to prep it for installation tomorrow. And just wanted to walk through a couple things of why I decided on the Thinktank toilet and what I felt was just the best quality composting toilet out there. And I say composting loosely because I know this is not a composting toilet truly. And again, a lot of people may disagree or agree that the true composting toilet, as you use it, it would have to sit for a while and be churned up a lot to actually compost. So essentially, usually composting toilets, you're dumping non-composted, uh, fecal matter of sorts. So you technically, it's not fully composted anyway. So that's kind of what drove me to this type of toilet where you have to empty it after so many uses. And so this toilet says it's about 40-50 uses or 40-60 uses, something like that. And for my application, I'm really looking for a toilet for weekend use anyway. So I was kind of turned off by composting toilets in general because that fan really has to be going ideally all the time. And I was shutting the power off to my cabin and totally removing power every time I left anyway. So I didn't want to deal with a battery or some sort of solar to keep that fan going. I know it's minimal, but I just didn't want a lot of moving parts. And I really wanted to just take the bags with me and dispose of them and know that when I come back up, there's going to be no smell whatsoever because nothing has been sitting there at all. Understanding that composting toilets, can be no smell as they compost anyway, with just the vent and no fan, but I just didn't want to add any of that guesswork in there. I didn't want to deal with any of that. So I kind of looked at all the composting toilets, from Ogo to Airhead to Nature's Head, looked at the separate Tiny, looked at the separate Villa. From all of those, there was great build quality, I feel like, in the Nature's Head and the Airhead. Separate Tiny, separate Villa. Maybe it looked like a little bit cheaper of a plastic. And I did see a lot of negative reviews on the little flap on the Tiny, separate Tiny, with regard to it not fully opening or the spring not fully making it when you sit down, the whole open and close mechanism. So it kind of turned me off, and I really just wanted something quality, simple, that was just going to last, that I knew it was just strong and built to last. So that really turned me over to the Thinktank. And as I read the reviews, they sounded exactly what I was looking for. And also, when you're going to spend that kind of money, I think you really want to make sure you're getting something quality. And this is definitely it. This is 100% quality, extremely well engineered. I know they said it took 5 or so years for prototypes and patents and all of that for this toilet, and you can 100% see why this toilet is really the best of the best, in my opinion. So I'm going to walk you through a little bit of the toilet itself and also what I'm going to do for this installation. So I'm just going to take you through opening the toilet. Right away you see that rubber silicone gasket that they have here, which seats perfectly in here for a nice tight seal. The plastic itself is very solid, thick plastic. It's not going to bend or warp or anything like that or crack. All the stainless steel components are just beautiful and just well thought out. Simple parts. And as you can see, there's the urine side of this and the poo side of this. But I really didn't understand how, from the videos, how you could pee standing up, because it looked like there was just a hole here and it would just fall into the poo bucket. But now I understand it. So it's maybe hard to see in this video, but there's a little crack kind of right in here. So I got to stick my finger right in here. And this is actually hollow. So this area underneath is hollow, which leads to another downspout underneath here. So not only does urine go on the top side of this, but if urine gets behind here while this flap is closed, it's going to go into the underside of this. And I'll just open it up a little bit so you can see. But it's hollow in here, so urine diverts straight down here into that hole, into a hole down there as well, which all funnels out a tube out the back. That is just an amazing design, and it truly is. You know, you can pee standing up, or if pee gets back here accidentally, not a big deal, and it just goes right out. Just a great design. So I'm going to go ahead and close the toilet and then open it up to show you the inside a little more. So as you can see, as you're opening it up, if I want it to stay in place, you know, I just lock it in place there with that stainless steel pin. And when I were to remove any of the waste, I'd want to flip this up, and you can see this little magnet right here connects to a magnet in the back, and it just nicely clicks right into place. It's just so solid. I wanted to show you another underside feature that's hard to see from the top side, is that when you open and close this latch, you can see that it connects with these little magnets as well. And it just drops perfectly into place. These little magnets back here, you know, get it solidly in place when it's kicked back. So I just wanted to show you how well thought out that is in this design. So as you can see, this is the lower, this is where all the urine kind of exits down the tube and it flows out the back. I'm going to show you the two fans. People have shown that in the videos, but they are or look to be just top quality fans. I plugged them in and they are very, very silent. So I can even plug that in this video to show you the sound difference, but you can't hear a thing. So I'm going to pull out the bucket, and so you can see there's this like clicking mechanism, and you see little teeth on it. And that's kind of how the bucket rotates around as you kind of move this each time the flap is opened up here. So looking down into the toilet, this is how it gets attached to the floor. So it's important that these two screws are kind of flathead screws that are included with the installation, because you don't want them to protrude up and kind of mess with the actual mechanism of the bucket spinning. But these other screws are what was provided were stainless steel flathead screws. There was no washer with them. It's probably not a big deal. I always kind of go overkill with things, but I bought some stainless steel fender washers that will allow me to kind of, you know, I'll just show you what I got from, you know, just Home Depot. But, you know, a fender washer so I could put that flathead screw right in there when I screw it to the ground, because I didn't want the metal up against, you know, the plastic itself, which is thick and strong enough anyway, so I'm sure no problems, but sometimes I just go a little overkill with things. But you can see, you know, down here is the wiring for the fan. So if you want both fans to kind of work, you're going to connect this wire to this wire to make both fans work. Otherwise you're leaving this one disconnected. And the power is right here, so that's the power source around back. And there's no, if you're just going to plug it into a wall outlet, there's no wiring really necessary. You're just going to hook it up with the provided plug. And I'll show you how that works too. So I'm going to go ahead and close everything up. Ooh, I forgot the pin here. I'm going to take the pin out and then just kind of close up the toilet. Sorry, I missed that pin. Sorry. All right. And I'm going to go around back just to show you the exhaust. So you can see here's the urine tube, and in my application of this toilet, I'm going to vent everything down through the floor. Basically, I'm putting it into a shipping container, and I don't want to cut any more holes into the side of the metal shipping container as I need to. So I'd rather just put it through the wood floor and vent everything down there. So that's repairable if I ever need to. You know, the metal walls of a shipping container are less repairable. in my opinion, so I'd rather just go through the wood floor on these. So anyway, I already, what was provided were a lot of these PVC pipes. So I'm going to use the 90 degree to do a downspout on each of these. And I've already did the solvent and glued this all together. Now, when I actually attach it to, and so this is your intake, and if you think about it, I'm not going to cut it, but I am going to put it straight through the floor here. But when I do that, I'm probably not going to solvent this against this fan because I don't want that to be a permanent structure. I'm probably just going to lightly silicone caulk it so that I can, if I need to, kind of remove it. So everything will be stationary. This will be screwed to the floor. This will be, pretty much set in place, but God forbid I need to remove it. I don't want to have this solvent attached to this fan for ease of removal. But I knew that I could solvent this and solvent this together, and I could always easily replace this, if I needed to. So the intake does not have the dampener, but the exhaust does. So this exhaust dampener is just basically, if I can look in here, restricts the exhaust, right? So you can kind of control how much airflow is going in and out of the toilet. And then again, if I need to replace this, it's easy enough to unscrew all the stainless steel mechanism, get another 3-inch pipe from Home Depot, and kind of set that back up again. And I will not solvent this either to there. So looking at the urine tube again, I'm going to go straight down through the floor with this, but it's just a 1-inch pipe that's going to be connected here, and then I'm going to put it through the floor, and then I'm throwing a 90 degree on it to shoot it out the back into a bucket to capture that. Included in the box are these two louvered insect screens for the exhaust, for the bottom of the exhaust, and these are just perfect pressure fitted into a 3-inch pipe. So you just pressure fit these right into the bottom. I won't do it now because I just don't want to have to pry it back out, but those will allow for, I won't pressure fit it all the way on, but those will allow for the airflow and no bugs to get in. So this was included also in the box is your bags with the rubber bands that kind of hold the bags in place on the bucket. This is a bucket lid, so if you are transporting and you want to throw a lid on there, you can. Cutting through the base of the floor was recommended to use a 3 1/4 hole saw. So I'm going to use that 3 1/4 hole saw here, and just to show you the fitment on the pipe. So it's going to be a very snug fit, and that's really what you want when you go through the hole, so you have minimal caulking. Just to show you, so that should shoot straight through the hole with minimal caulking on that. And then I was able to find a basically 1 3/8 hole saw for the 1-inch pipe, and that also basically is very tight fitment on the 1-inch pipe. So hard to see from the video, but that will be a perfect fit there to get that through the floor. So now I'll go ahead and show you just kind of what the fan sounds like. I'm going to plug in basically where I'm going to plug this into the wall and show you what the sound of the fan sounds like. So one second as I hook this up. All right, so here's going to be the sound difference. Right now, the fan is not running, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. I'll get really close so you can hear. But it's basically silent, so you won't even know that that's running. So just want to conclude the video just to say that it really is a great toilet, and I'm very excited for the install. It's there are extra parts that are included for the install. I'm not going to have to use these ones, but did want to show you some of these extra parts. Right, so if your vent going straight out the back, you're going to use your straight out the back connections here. And of course, not a big deal if you know, for your install, just go to Home Depot, get 3-inch pipe. And it does say not to kind of change the exhaust sizes, so don't downsize from a 3-inch to a 2-inch and so forth. So I you know, went with the directions, and I'm just doing full 3-inch on the exhaust and intake, and listening to what they're telling you to do here. But again, yes, sorry. So I am very excited for the install, and overall it just is a great toilet. I can't say enough good things about this thing. And you know, this is not sponsored in any way. You know, I paid full price for it, and I really researched for months and months, reading lots of forums, reading all about all the other toilets, and this one just, in my opinion, kind of blew the other ones out of the water. So I'm excited to install again, and I'll put a video of the install up as well. All right, bye for now.